We get the much needed backstory to Ikta and Yatori in this episode. We get to find out kind of how they met, why they are such close friends, and kind of how they grew up together. This episode describes that, and also gives us a situation to kind of fit the narrative of this episode, which focuses on how Yatori was raised, and how she views, like, you know, herself as being a soldier, and how Ikta, our main character, how he views soldiers, and how he doesn't want to be a soldier, and he wants to be like a scientist. So, majority of this episode is to see the different perspectives of these two characters, and also how the world works, and how they came together to work together to be able to accomplish many things in the future. And overall, when it came to the chemistry of these two characters throughout the episode, it just works. The chemistry of Ikta and Yatori, it works throughout this entire episode. It didn't feel like this episode was just trying to force, like, this situation where these two characters have to love each other, and I really respect that, because there's many anime, many manga, many light novels, to when you have two childhood friends, a male and a female, when you have these backstories, you find out that, you know, the main female character, main male character likes said girl or said boy, they fall in love or something like that, or they're very awkward around each other when they're at a young age, and that's not the case in this episode. It was a very different, I guess, outlook on the situation of a childhood friend, and it wasn't the same old, oh, the childhood friend, like the female friend, gets embarrassed and all that, and then eventually becomes, you know, strong by herself after seeing how the male character lead is. And I'm glad to see Yatori being able to stand on her own, and how she acted as a kid, and how she was able to also come to realization of how much Ikta means to her, and how these two can accomplish so much in the future if they work together. Now, besides that, however, majority of this episode, besides, you know, just getting to see kind of how they were raised, it focuses on this situation where there's wolves attacking Ikta and Yatori while they're by themselves in this, you know, cottage. And I gotta be honest here, when it came to the conflict of the episode, I understood what it was trying to say about how negotiations are usually said after bullets are already fired. I get the entire point of the episode. It's very straightforward, and honestly, you don't have to be a rocket scientist to understand what the episode is trying to imply. For instance, usually people, they will attack someone, break someone's leg, snap someone's neck, or whatever, kill someone before they actually sit down and try to have a conversation with someone at a dinner table. That's usually what happens, honestly. Majority of the time, that's kind of what happens. So I understand what the narrative was trying to let us know, but when it came to the way the wolves were used in this episode, I felt like, honestly, it did not work. I'm just gonna be honest here, because the way the wolves were so smart, I know wolves are smart, okay? I know, I've been around wolves before, and I know wolves are very smart creatures. They're smart animals, and they can do tactics, strategies, and stuff like that. But when it came to the conflict of the episode, especially with the way the wolves were jumping on each other inside of the roof and all that, and the way they were in the fireplace, just overall the entirety of the way the wolves were being displayed, it felt so unrealistic. I mean, wolves are smart. They're very smart the way they hunt down their prey, but the way they were shown in this episode, it just felt so unrealistic. That I'm just going to emphasize that. It really did. Now, of course, Ikta and Yatori were saying that the leader was very intelligent, smart for a wolf, but still, it just, I'm like, it felt so like, I don't know. It just did not, you know, I guess, sit right with me, honestly. It just didn't. I wasn't a big fan of the way the wolves were kind of used as the conflict, and the way they were just jumping on each other inside of the house and all that. And when you see it to how they were, you know, were just doing all these certain type of tactics, I was just like, oh, I know what they're trying to do. I know that they're trying to show us how people usually attack instead of negotiate and all that. But, I mean, these wolves are just very hungry, and that's why they're not negotiating. And I'm like, okay, so yeah, I mean, episode overall, besides that, it was a good episode. I mean, we needed this episode for characterization and development for our two main leads, and I'm fine with that. I'm fine with the way the episode did that, and honestly, I'm fine with the pacing. I know many people are going to look at other aspects of this episode and instantly hate on it because it was slow, it was a flashback episode, and like, meh, you know, that many are going to look at it like that, and honestly, I'm fine with it. I'm fine with the flashback episode. I'm completely fine with it because, you know, anime needs this. Light novels need this. Manga needs this. Movies need this. You need exposition to develop said characters. And I am fine with what this episode brought to the table. When it came to some of the execution to it, maybe not a big fan of, but the episode overall, it was enjoyable, and I can't wait to see what happens after this point onward and see how Yatori continues to develop and how she continues to be the right hand of Ikta, and Ikta continues to be the left hand of her. So let me know your thoughts in the comments below. You all have a wonderful day or night wherever you live. Please be safe. Chibi out.